topics covered in this lecture. In this video lecture, you'll learn how to give a name to a constant and to a formula. In the last video, we have discussed about how you can make your formulas easier using named cells or ranges. In this video tutorial, we shall focus on some advanced naming techniques. For example, you can use a name for a constant or you can use a name for a formula. At the end of the video, we shall see how you can apply the names to existing references. At first, I will show you how you can use a name for a constant. Look at this worksheet. Let's find out the sales tax one more time for chair item. Select the cell, input equal sign, quantity, times unit price, times sales tax rate. Sales tax $40 shows in the cell. Sales tax rate, that is 8% or 0.08, is a constant. You can use a name for this constant. Click on the Formulas tab, click Define Name command. New name dialog box appears. You see sales underscore tax underscore rate is showing in the name field. I want to change the name. I type sales tax. Scope is by default workbook. Refers to field is referring to this cell. Delete this reference. Type 0.08. Click OK. Click on the name box drop down. You see sales tax is not showing in the drop down. The reason is sales tax is not referring to any cell. It is referring to a value. Open the name manager dialog box. You see sales tax is showing in the list. Its value is 0.08. It is referring to 0.08 and its scope is the whole workbook. Let's now find out the sales tax of chair item again. Select the cell, click on the formula bar, delete B3 cell reference, type SA. You see sales tax is suggested. Press tab and then press return. You see the sales tax $40 is showing in the cell again. I copy paste the formula in other cells using the fill handle tool. So this is how you can use a name for a constant. Let's now see how you can use a name for a formula. Click on the Define Name command in the Formulas ribbon. New name dialog box appears. In the name field, I type cube. Scope is by default the whole workbook. Click on the Refers to button. I select this cell. Click again on the Refers to button field. Input the caret sign at the end of the reference. Then I input 3. When I have input the caret sign and then 3 after the cell reference, then this whole thing has become to a formula. This is no more a cell reference. Notice one more thing. The cell reference in the formula is absolute reference. I will show you an example where I will use relative cell reference. I click OK. Click on the name box drop down. Cube name is not in the list. The reason is cube is not referring to any cell. Cube is actually the name of a formula. Open the name manager dialog box. You see cube is in the list. The value of cube is 1 to 5. It is referring to the formula sheet 1 G6 to the power 3. And scope is the whole workbook. Close the name manager dialog box. Now you can use the cube formula anywhere in the worksheet. I select the cell under formula. Input equal sign. Input 10. Then asterisk sign. Then type C. Cube is not in the list. Type U. You see cube is at the top of the list. Double click on the cube to insert it into the formula. If I press return, what should be the result? The result should be 1250. As the value of cube is 1 to 5. Press return. You see the result is 1250. You can change the value of cube, changing the value of cell G6. I change the value to 4. Cube of 4 is 64. When it is multiplied by 10, the result is 640. This is how you can create a name for a formula. Now I will show you how you can use relative references when you create a name for a formula. I select the cell under formula, click on the Define Name command. New name dialog box appears. In the name field, I tap square. Scope is by default the whole workbook. Click on the Refers to button. I select this cell, press return. You see, the cell reference is an absolute type reference. I want to change it to a relative type reference. I can use the keyboard shortcut to change the cell reference. I press F4. The cell reference is now a mixed cell reference. Press again F4. It is still a mixed reference. Press again F4. The cell reference is now a relative reference. Now type caret sign and then 2. Click OK. Open the name manager dialog box. You see the square name is in the list. The value of the square is now 1. and it's referring to the formula sheet 1 K6 to the power 2. Close the name manager dialog box and select the next cell in this column. Again open the name manager dialog box. You see right now the value of square is 4 and it's referring to the formula K7 to the power 2. K7 the next cell in the values column. The reason is the formula is actually relative. When I was defining square formula, I was in this cell and was referring to this cell. Now I am in this cell, so the formula is referring to this cell. So if I refer to this cell, the formula will refer to this cell. Close the name manager dialog box. I select the cell next to 6. Now again open the name manager dialog box. You see square is now referring to K11 cell. And the value of square is now 36. Square of 6 is 36. I close the name manager dialog box, select again the cell under formula, input equal sign, type 10, asterisk sign, type SQ. Square is in the list, double click on the square name to insert it into the formula, press return. The result is 10. Square of 1 is 1. When it is multiplied by 10, the result is 10. I use fill handle tool to copy the formula to all the cells in the column. You see the results here. Now I shall show how you can apply names to existing references. For example, I calculate the difference between actual and projected cells. Input equal sign, actual cells minus projected cells. Press return. The difference is minus 200. Say at one point, you name cell C12 as actual _ 1 and you name cell B12 as projected _ 1. Click again on the difference cell, look at the formula bar. You see C12 is not changed to actual one and B12 is also not changed to projected one. So this is clear that name references are not applied to the formulas automatically. You have to apply the names using some command. Click on the define name drop down part. Choose apply names. Apply names dialog box appears. Click both the names and click OK. You see the formula bar again. You see the formula is now using the names of the cells. So this is how you can apply names to existing cell references. These are the key takeaways from this lecture. You will get the downloadable copy of it with the exercise files and also in the lecture resources window. This summary will help you to grab the overall discussion of the video, print it or use it in your own way. Summary of the lecture. In this video lecture, you have learned how to give names to constant and formulas.